short little starting soon screen. Hi. Oh, don't mind me. I wasn't doing anything. I wasn't playing with anything. Hi gamers. How we doing? Early stream gamers. Oh, actually. I was actually gonna stream even earlier than this, but I ended up literally just painting for like 3 hours. And so my entire desk is covered with paint bottles and paintbrushes and drying canvases. So but hi gamers, how we doing? We need to finish episode 2. We've been on it for a long while. I don't know if we are going to finish it today, but we are gonna try, that's for sure. Hopefully. But I hope everyone's doing good. Tell me why I'm being called for a family night right now, I swear to God. I'll drop it when I can. No worries, Matt, no worries. Go for your family night. Court is back in session for the trial of Damien Tenma.
Apollo Justice, defense team leader, is ready, Your Honor.
Okay, Apollo.
Athena Sykes, assistant defender, is ready too, Your Honor.
Your Honor. Je suis prête. As chipper as ever, I see. And in French, no less. And the prosecution? Okay. It seems your shekels have rematerialized. Very well then. By the way, I asked Detective Fulbright to provide sturdier shackles today. There will be no more of your funny business this time, Prosecutor Blackquill. Now, your opening statement, if you would. I believe it's standard procedure for the prosecution to handle it. That's okay.
Looks like the judge is really bringing it today.
He probably realized how Blackwell played him. That was one mean game of Simon Says.
Yeah, His Honor has to fight to defend his honor today.
Your baldness. It's plain to see that you've always dreamed of delivering an epic opening statement. I have? I don't know if I'd say that. Why, of course you have. I saw it in your eyes the last time you gave the opening statement. That was the look of one who yearns deeply for the thrill of an epic opening statement. The world's gonna end when Simon Blackwell gives an opening statement. For decades now, you have been watching opening statements from your bench. They were the crown jewels of the court. The one thing you could not possess. Oh my god. The crown jewels of the court? Now, at long last, they are within your grasp. How could you possibly refuse? So you don't mind if I do it then? I'll make a special exception. Just this once. Here we go again. Yep, more of Blackwell's mind games. Are the crown jewels shinier than his baldness? Well, in that case, I think I might go ahead and make the opening statement myself. Oh my god, he gives in way too easily. In yesterday's session, we learned the shocking truth that the victim, Alderman Rex Kyubi, was the Amazing Ninetails. We also learned that the Amazing Ninetails was a key figure in the yokai craze and anti-merger protests. It was further revealed that upon learning Rex Kyubi's secret identity, Mayor Damien Tenma murdered him. The fact that the crime took place in a tightly locked room was also brought to light. And the only people in that tightly locked room were the defendant and victim. The defense proposed the existence of a hypothetical third party. A detailed recap because this episode has been going on for so long. But further investigation revealed no proof of a third party who had escaped the room. Ergo, we must conclude that the evidence against the defendant is, well, conclusive. Did I say something wrong? That was quite astonishing. You've truly outdone yourself this time. Oh, one more thing to boast about to my grandchild. Okay. Well, this was not an unexpected turn of events. Now then, it seems the prosecution has called a new witness to testify. The inexplicable yokai evidence left at the scene of the crime. Well, does that not demand some sort of explanation? Wow, bro had kids. The feathers and tracks, weren't those left by the mayor while he was possessed? That was but an act to protect his daughter. Oh, yes, of course. I had suspected as much. Does he mean great kids? Bro's 1,000 years old. He's been the only judge since the beginning of time. He's a god. Wait, did he actually believe the mayor's award-winning performance? His daughter was the one who planted the yokai evidence. Ergo, the true identity of the yokai in the manor was the manor's maid, Jinxie Tenma.
Objection!
The prosecution is engaging in mere conjecture. Would you care for some witness testimony, then? For I am ready to prove that the little scamp is the one behind the Tenmataro farce. Witness testimony. I'll bet he means Filch and that creeple Bell. Very well, then. Bailiff, would you bring in the first witness?
Please. Por favor.
Mr. Filch, you made quite the hasty exit yesterday. See that it doesn't happen again today. Been known for my hasty retreat since I was a kid. Bit of a trademark of mine. Indeed. You managed to give a total of 5 bailiffs the slip. Like those amateurs could ever nab me, eh? Yipes! Perhaps we should shackle you by the neck. That would keep you in place. Okay. Yipes! No, please, I'm liable to rip my own head off if I start running. Your statement, now. Yes, sir, Mr. Blackhead, sir. You may beat a hasty retreat, but there's no escaping Prosecutor Blackwell. Yeah, Blackwell doesn't strike me as the give-up easy type. Now then, Mr. Filch, your testimony, please. Specifically, the true nature of the yokai you saw in the manor shortly after the crime. The yokai is Jinxie. Tenmataro's really that little maid gal, ain't no doubt about it. I mean, the Tenmataro I saw was just a little thing about her size. But the little runt had a big old staff. I seen it when she came into the foyer. Bet she stole it from the Forbidden Chamber after stumbling on the crime scene. She was gonna use it to wallop me on account of my fierce reputation. I just know it. Okay, hold on. How do you know there's staffs in the Forbidden Chamber? No one's supposed to have gone in there. So Tenmataro was short in stature. And that's because it was Miss Jinxie Tenma all along? You betcha. Besides, all the rest in the manor were way taller than her. feigning height is but an easy thing. But a big ox like the defendant could never pass for short. What if the Tenmataro impersonator was walking on their knees? What? No knee walking, I seen him myself. Then perhaps that yokai really was Miss Tenma after all. All monsters are naught but tricks, either of the mind or the cheap parlor variety. So you're saying she created an illusion, like one of those magical eye things? Precisely. Human senses are easily deceived. Take the fellow in the cell next to me. Each night he cries and screams about some ghost he thinks he sees. Objection, Your Honor, ghosts are real. But in truth, it was simply the janitor. Objection, Your Honor. Ghosts are real. My boss is best friends with a spirit medium, okay? And she's like legit. Ho ho ho! Prosecutor Blackwell just gave up the ghost. Literally. The janitor's deathly complexion and all-white attire are, no doubt, partially to blame. That and the fact he constantly mutters about taking vengeance for this or that. Oh my god. That actually sounds like a real ghost to me. An exorcism was literally performed in this court. Your Honor, do you remember Dahlia Hawthorne? The defense may now cross-examine the witness. Yeah, I don't buy it. Tenmataro's the little maid gal, ain't no doubt about it. I mean, the Tenmataro I saw was just a little thing about her size, but the little runt had a big old staff. I seen it when she came into the foyer. Betcha she stole it from the forbidden chamber after stumbling on the crime scene. I don't think so. For a lot of reasons.
Objection!
It would seem that Tenmataro was in fact not this innocent little girl. Huh? How you figure that? You claim the Tenmataro you saw had one of those staves from the forbidden chamber. But it would have been impossible for Miss Tenma to get a hold of one. Care to elaborate, Mr. Justice? The mayor swallowed this key shortly after the murder. He wanted to keep the killer out of the forbidden chamber. What's this? This key was deep in the mayor's stomach when Miss Tenma discovered the crime scene. So you see, it would have been impossible for her to get into the forbidden chamber. In short, the Tenmataro seen holding that staff could not have been Jinxie Tenma. What? But then who does the defense believe that was impersonating Tenmataro? Our Tenmataro impersonator is none other than the Mayor Tenma's aide. Such accusations beg evidence. Aside from his ghastly appearance, can you prove he is the yokai we seek? Yeah, in fact, I can. Very well, let's see where the defense is going with this. Mr. Justice, please show us proof as to the true identity of the Tenmataro impersonator. His hand cream is in the Forbidden Chamber, hombre. We found this hand cream in the Forbidden Chamber. And we know that whoever was Tenmataro took one of the staves out of there. In short, I'm short. I believe whoever this hand cream belongs to is the yokai impersonator we're looking for. But Mr. Justice, how do you propose to identify the hand cream's owner? Your Honor, it's really simple. I'm glad you asked, Your Honor. The defense requests a fingerprint analysis on this piece of evidence. Yes, let's see. Well, the results came back, and it looks like you and Athena Sykes' fingerprints are all over these. So you two are Tenmataro. Lock them up. Oh, dang, we forgot the gloves. It might tell us who it belongs to. Interesting. So you expect to find the yokai's prince there? Very well. I hereby call a short recess while we wait for the fingerprint results. No need for that, your baldness. We have the prints of everyone at the manor that day. You call the prosecutor Blackquill? Could anyone be more whipped? Fulbright, analyze this for prints. You have 3 minutes. Your wish is my command. Very well then. I guess we'll just wait right here. She always wears gloves. Oh my god, that is so cute! Oh. Oh, wait, that's adorable. Oh. Franziska von Karma is legit the only sensible person when getting evidence. She always wears gloves. Oh, that is... I don't want to skip off this screen. The little hawk with a little paper in its beak is so cute. It would seem the fingerprint analysis is complete. Oh, what do the results show? What in the world? They're my prints, aren't they? They're Florent LaBelle's prints, aren't they? This is absurd. Prosecutor Blackwell? I'm not gonna like this, am I? Don't tell me. They're Tenmataro's prints. Fingerprint analysis has revealed that the prints belong to... This is so dramatic. Whoa! Phineas Filch. Dang. That explains how he knew what the Forbidden Chamber looked like on the inside. I bet he stole something.
Objection!
Wait, what? What? Then Mr. LaBelle wasn't the one who entered the Forbidden Chamber?
Objection!
Why, you tricksy little tanuki. Explain yourself now. Sure, the them prints are mine. I mean, I did pilfer that hand cream from Mr. LaBelle, after all. So you're the one who entered the Forbidden Chamber? So what if I did? Got a problem with it? Yikes! You fool of a tanuki. He's got a crate to stand on. I never noticed that. Order! Order! Mr. Justice, care to explain what this could mean? Excellent question. The fact that Mr. Filch was in the Forbidden Chamber... Wait a second. Does this mean that Tenmataro holding that staff was Phineas Filch? Yikes! Another cat out of the bag! He's a co-conspirator. Filch wanted to unleash chaos upon the world. Mr. Filch is Tenmataro? I don't understand. Does this mean Mr. Filch is the real killer? The witness will explain himself this instant. Begging your pardon, your ownership, but I was just doing what the alderman told me. He wanted me to be Tenmataro in the village exorcism ritual. Oh, you mean that event at the Ninetails Festival? So that was you inside the Tenmataro costume? Yep, and after that event I went to watch that pro wrestling program. But it bored me to tears on account of the wrestlers being complete jobbers. So I didn't actually watch the entire wrestling match. That's when I looked at the Tenmataro costume and got a great idea. Nobody can tell it's me while I'm wearing it. And 'cause of them superstitions, no matter what I do, the villagers won't say a word. In other words, you use the superstitions to effectively render yourself invisible. Why did you want to enter the Forbidden Chamber in the first place? because of the treasure there. Thought that was my big chance to sneak on in and nab it. Treasure? Only that it's the greatest get-rich-quick chance in the universe. Grandpappy told me all about it. Said there's an amazing treasure in there. Well, he went in there not knowing his grandfather had already pilfered it. Guess that's one tale that didn't get passed down from grandpappy to grandson. Wait, how exactly did you get into the Forbidden Chamber? There was a meeting in the Fox Chamber that day. Plus the mayor swallowed the only key that could open the Forbidden Chamber's door. You couldn't have possibly gotten in. I could through the air vent in the foyer. The vents left of the alderman's picture. I went on in and made a nice little hole. Used that to get into the air duct that leads to the Forbidden Chamber, I did. What? But how's that even possible? Wait a sec. Remember that air vent in the Forbidden Chamber? So Mr. Filch found a way to get into that air duct? And that's how he got from the foyer vent in the Forbidden Chamber to the Forbidden Chamber vent? So Tenma Taro was nothing more than a cat burglar, or rather a tanuki burglar. And we're back to being without anyone to charge for the alderman's murder. Looks like our so-called yokai is nothing more than one big troublemaker. Tell me, Mr. Filch, what did you do after fleeing to the foyer? I get out of that costume right quick. Would've just caused trouble at that point. And where is that costume now? Heck if I know. And it ain't my fault if you'd never find it. The police searched every nook and cranny. No yokai costume was left in that manor. What if it was tossed outside the manor? Ah. It was tossed into the air and everyone thought it was flying. Got it. Yep. No way. But maybe, just maybe. The defense seems to have hit upon an idea. Well, go on, Mr. Justice. Okay, here's what I think. Mr. Filch, did you get rid of the costume here? Through the window?
Take that!
Did you toss it out the window? Because that would certainly explain why it didn't turn up inside the manor. You think I tossed it out the window? That costume cost me a pretty penny. So why would I go do something like that? I can think of a few reasons. Any bright ideas, Apollo? Well, assuming the costume really was tossed out from the window, then the next question would be, what happened to it after that? And if I'm right, I might have just the thing to prove what happened to the costume. Phineas Filch, I have just the evidence for you. Ya do? This evidence proves you got rid of your Tenma Taro costume through the window. I'm guessing the newspaper, right?
Take that!
That's Tenma Taro flying through the sky. And just... how does that prove Mr. Filch threw his costume out the window? It's quite simple. That's not Tenma Taro in the photo. It's the costume Mr. Filch threw out. Oh, that's crazy talk. You ain't serious, are you? There's a steep cliff right outside the foyer window, meaning the manor is pretty high up. The costume flew through the air after it was tossed out. That's when the photo was taken. In other words, the photo of Tenma Taro really was a flight of fancy. What? Yikes! Oh my, so there really never was a yokai? Oh, I can't keep any of them cats bagged. Can I still file a claim for the lost costume? This more than proves the defense's position. Jinxie Tenma had nothing to do with staging the yokai sighting. care to raise any objections, Prosecutor Blackwell? None whatsoever. I'll deal with that tricksy Tanuki after I've dealt with this case. We did it!
Good going. All I gotta do is make Florent LaBelle take the stand.
Objection!
Ugh. Sheathing the sword a bit early, are we not? Huh? Nothing has been proven beyond a doubt. Take this tricksy little Tanuki, for instance. How do you suppose he was able to exit the Forbidden Chamber? Probably the same way he got in. Through the chamber's air vent? I was assuming he just walked... No, because Blackwell's gonna go, no, he can't get back up there, it's too high. And he's short. I'm guessing, my theory, is it was after the murders, so he just kind of waltzed right out. And that's how the feathers and the tracks got left. That's my theory. I could be wrong, but... And what of the feathers and tracks at the scene of the crime? They would suggest that the Tanuki exited through the chamber door, not the air vent.
Objection!
But the Forbidden Chamber doesn't open from the inside. Someone opened it. Someone opened it. So what you're saying makes no sense. Right? he's so adorable. I'm guessing LaBelle opened it. For some reason, I don't know. Someone on the outside opened the door for you. Isn't that right? Yeah, that's right, Mr. Blackjack. That door suddenly sprung right open.
Hold it!
Sprung right open? Who's on the other side? Didn't get a good look on account of the sudden glare. Like how the reflection from my head blinds fellow moviegoers emerging from the dark. Shut up, Judge. That's when I snatched that staff and made my daring escape. And then that little maid gal spotted me as I hightailed it down the hall.
That means the Forbidden Chamber wasn't opened until after the crime was discovered.
But wait, we still don't know who opened it. Maybe there really was a third person in the Fox Chamber.
Objection!
Well, you little Tanuki, when the Forbidden Chamber opened, did you see the accused passed out there? Nope. Only one there was the alderman, and he was dead as a doornail. If the accused wasn't there, what do you suppose he was up to? Uh-oh. I don't like where this is going. Oh, don't tell me! Plainly, the only one who could have opened the Forbidden Chamber was the defendant. The accused, Damien Tenma. Oh.
Hold it!
Wait a second. Apollo, this is why you should carry a camera. There had to be somebody else besides Mayor Tenma there. Really? And who might that be?
Oh, well, that would be...
Objection!
It seems our feisty little lass has forgotten the most important thing. Evidence.
I didn't forget. I was just testing your attention to details.
Miss Sykes, you can't prove your point without proof of some sort. It's a proven fact. Sorry. Guess I put my foot in my mouth again. No, nobody gave her a chance to present evidence. Everyone just started yelling at her the minute she opened her mouth. She didn't even get a chance to try showing evidence. No, Athena, we're definitely onto something here.
We are?
Think about it. If Filch was stuck inside the Forbidden Chamber, one of the alibis we heard would no longer hold any water. The defense would like to call a new witness to the stand. Someone who knew Mr. Filch was stuck in the Forbidden Chamber. And by virtue of knowing this, has an alibi that no longer adds up. Not that insufferable. Very well. The court will hear what Mr. Justice has to say. Whose alibi no longer adds up? Florent LaBelle.
Take that!
Literally, Phineas Filch was his alibi. Why, that's the defendant's aide, Florent LaBelle. Didn't he claim to be in the foyer at the time of the crime? Oops. True, but in his alibi, he also claimed Mr. Filch was in the foyer too. However, as we all now know now, Mr. Filch was not there with Mr. LaBelle at the time. In short, Mr. LaBelle's alibi has disappeared. Florent LaBelle's alibi was one big lie. Isn't that right, Mr. Filch? I reckon there ain't no keeping that cat in the bag here neither. It was all Mr. LaBelle's idea. He told me he'd button his lip about me breaking into the Forbidden Chamber. And in return, he said we'd vouch for each other's alibi. Shame on you, Mr. Filch. Perjury is a serious crime, you know. Aw, shucks. Mercy, your honorship, mercy. I also assert that the person who opened the Forbidden Chamber for Mr. Filch was none other than Florent LaBelle. After all, his alibi has just been proven to be a complete fabrication. I see. We'll take a 20-minute recess. After which time we will see what Mr. LaBelle has to say for himself. Yes! Finally gonna drag that slippery snake onto the stand. In the meantime, the prosecution will question Mr. LaBelle about these new allegations. Epic. April 19th, 10:25 a.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby, number 3.
We did it, Apollo! We finally dragged Mr. LaBelle into court.
Yeah.
Hey, why the long face?
I can't help but feel I'm missing something important. Plus, Prosecutor Blackwell's bound to mount a counterattack.
You really are a worrywart, aren't you? It'll be fine. That mystery figure who opened the Forbidden Chamber for Mr. Filch had to have been Florent LaBelle.
No, but that's not what's bugging me. I wish I could put my finger on it, though.
At any rate, the big showdown with Mr. LaBelle's up next, so chin up, Apollo.
Oh my god, he's literally the Joker. Court is back in session. Our next witnesses. Oh my, he's literally the Joker. Yes, I'm acting on behalf of the mayor in this very important matter. It seems the witness is predisposed at the moment. Surely you jest. I will hold you to your promise. Remember that. Oh, my deepest apologies. This is Florent LaBelle, personal aide to Mayor Tenma. Or should I say, the accused. You want to know how I got these scars, Apollo Justice? Ouch. Like the poor mayor hasn't suffered enough. Who's the Batman of this universe? Blackwell, of course. I mean, look at him. Look at him. That's clearly Batman. Well, what business do you have with me? I'm a very busy man, so let's make this as brief as possible. Your baldness. Right. Mr. Filch's testimony has revealed a hole in your alibi. And for this reason, you are suspected of having some sort of connection with the case at hand. To think I'd be associated with this entirely lurid affair. Well, I'm not, so may I go now? I have very important matters to attend to.
Objection!
I don't think so, Mr. LaBelle. Do you realize what a serious crime you've committed? Witness, you are being accused of perjury. This is your chance to clear the air. Fine. The truth is I faked my alibi for a very good reason. The mayor was obviously the killer, so I created a fake alibi to confuse the matter. You see, as his personal aide, I felt I had to protect him. Sorry. You think this is funny? Without your alibi, you're a suspect too. What were you really doing at the time of the crime? Pfft, peasant. How dare you accuse me, one of the beautiful people... Stop stalling and tell the court what you were really doing at the time of the crime.
Silence.
Enough jabbering. Swords have been drawn. The time for talk is past. Swords? What swords? This is a duel to the death. The fate of the accused rests in our hands. Begone, ye of cowardly heart. The battlefield hath no place for ye. Again? Oh my. Spare me, please. Oh man. So much for sturdier shackles. Ah! Those chains hindered my vow that heads would roll this day. This gives keeping your head on in court a whole new meaning. Will the witness please deliver the accused's death knell? You know of what I speak. Most certainly. His goose is already cooked. Time to stick a fork in him. Whatever he has to say can't be good. As I told Prosecutor Blackwell during the recess, I rushed right over to the Fox chamber when I heard little Jinxie scream. What? Then, drumroll please, I saw Mayor Tenma opening the forbidden chamber doors. But... There you have it. The mystery man who opened the chamber door, as witnessed by one Phineas Felch. It was the accused. There was never any third party. Oh, and that's not all. I heard something quite startling there at the scene of the crime. Startling sounds bad. The mayor, who was barely conscious, muttered this. Forgive me, Jinxie. I killed the alderman. That's right. The mayor actually confessed to the murder right then and there. He confessed? Order. Order in the court. This is quite conclusive testimony, if it stands. Just so. And quite astonishing, I might add. I only learned of this fact during the recess. I just love surprises, don't you? That's why I saved the best for last. Consider it a gift from me to you. No way. I don't believe Mr. LaBelle heard the mayor confess. But is this really true? Did Mayor Tenma really confess? It is indeed. During that last recess, I confirmed it with the mayor's daughter. It would seem Mayor Tenma actually did confess. That testimony is quite favorable to the prosecution's... Oh my gosh. This is LaBelle. Yes, I called earlier about the party reservations. That's right. And I'll be calling my little shindig Mayor Tenma's Conviction Gala. A splendid time is guaranteed for all but the mayor and his defense. Well, as it seems, our witness is a very busy man. Let's get right to his testimony, and we will. In just a moment, I will BRB gamers. Boom. I am back, gamers. Hello. Mr. LaBelle, please tell us what you saw when you came upon the scene of the crime. What LaBelle saw. I was in the hallway, hiding in the shadows. That's when I heard the confession. Upon learning of her father's crime, little Jinxie fled without ever noticing me. Immediately after that, the mayor came to stood up. The mayor came too, stood up, and opened the forbidden chamber. As I ran in terror, the demon emerged from his prison. In shock, I fled down the hallway to my right, to the one with the phone at the end. That's not right. I must say, this is a shocking revelation. Quite unexpected. Jinxie's the one that called the police. To think the defendant actually confessed then and there to his crime. Perhaps the guilt was too much to bear, so he confided in his daughter. You do realize you should not have withheld such crucial testimony from the court. Once again, sorry. It's just I feared being accused if I mentioned coming upon the most unpleasant scene. Why did the mayor's confession have to be brought up by this guy? We better do something before the judge declares the mayor guilty. As a death row inmate once told me in years gone by, there is a time to fight and a time to yield, a time to live and a time to die. He's laying it on real thick now. If he's the Joker, the courtroom will explode if he loses. Oh my god. That's how the courtroom got exploded. We figured it out. The defense may now cross-examine the witness. We solved the case. Yeah, so he's a dirty liar. Yes, upon learning of her father's crime, little Jinxie fled without ever noticing me. Now that's a delayed reaction verbal. They ran in terror, the demon emerged from his prison. Just a couple months late, you know. They fled down the hallway to my right, the one with the phone at the end. Oh, dang it. If we don't find some way to poke a hole in his testimony, Mayor Tenma's as good as guilty. This is bad, very bad. We need to find an inconsistency, a mistake, some kind of conflict. It's all over if we can't find a flaw in the prosecution's case. I didn't mean to hit that. After leaving the scene and calling the police, they passed each other in a bed in the hallway. She made for the foyer. He was carrying stuff like, yeah. She couldn't call for help because there was no one else in the hall. Yeah, so he's a liar.
Objection!
Florent LaBelle, you're lying about having witnessed these events from the hallway. What on earth do you mean? Yes, care to fill the rest of us in, Mr. Justice? If Mr. LaBelle had really fled down into the hall with the phone in it, he would have crossed paths with Miss Tenma. What's this? After she discovered the crime scene, she immediately went to call the police. Then after making her call, she went back to the main hallway, whereupon she encountered the demon, yokai, or whatever you want to call it. As for me, I call it Phineas Filch in a Tenma Taro costume. The encounter happened right here where the hallways meet. As for Mr. LaBelle, if he had fled here, feigning escape from the yokai imposter... Why, yes, the two would have crossed paths. Right, except Miss Tenma told us that there was no one else in the hall. In short, Miss Tenma did not see you in the hall because you were never really there. My eyes! My beautiful eyes! Not such a fabulous scent now, is it? But Mr. Justice, the witness has also stated that he heard the mayor confess. If he was lying about hearing the confession from the hall, then where was he when he heard it? Inside the Fox chamber? Where else? But isn't that within the very crime scene? Yeah, Judge, catch up. He's the murderer. It is, Your Honor. That means he's not really a witness. Rather, he's the third party I've been alleging this whole time. What? You think I'm the killer? How dare you?
Silence.
Foolish fop. A true man knows when he is beaten. A shield of lies comes to naught before a foe with the sword of truth bared. Prosecutor Blackwell, what are you? I thought we were on the same side. You are mistaken. There are no sides here, save for my cold, steely edge of judgment. You are alone upon this battlefield, with naught but your lies and sickly sweet perfume. Whoa, that was so hot. What just happened? Blackwell's really tearing into him. You heard the mayor's confession from the inside. Did you not, you deviant dandy? Blackwell just wants him to be thrown into death row. For the sole location from which you could have seen and heard the mayor and the Tanuki, without either of them noticing you, were right there in the Fox chamber. Oh my. So that's how it's going to be. Fine, I'll come clean then. I did it, I killed him. Seriously? You admit to being there in the Fox chamber? I do. I did enter the room after the murder, but I was afraid of being falsely accused, so I lied about it. I feel terrible about lying like that, but it's a verbal cologne I use to protect myself. You'd better explain yourself, Mr. LaBelle. Yes, of course, I was just about to get to that. The witness is skating on thin ice. I'll remind you that perjury is a very serious crime. Now let's hear your testimony again, this time without your perfume of lies.
Witness testimony.
In the Fox chamber. I did enter the Fox chamber after the murder, but I didn't enter until after Jinxie had heard the confession and left. I heard the mayor groan and hid behind the folding screen there. What I saw there up close, it was absolutely horrifying. So you see, I was there, but merely watching from behind the screen. From behind the screen? Why, yes, I believe you wouldn't be spotted if you were there. Just so. He could see everything without being spotted by the victim or that Tanuki filch. Suffice to say, he was a mere witness to the events, rather than an actual third party. This guy's as slippery as an eel. Apollo, you think he's telling the truth? Of course he's not. This guy needs to figure out some better lies. Well, he was in the Fox chamber, so at least that much must be true. The defense may cross-examine our slightly voyeuristic witness.
I did enter the Fox chamber after the murder, but I didn't until after Jinxie had heard the confession and left. I heard the mayor groan and hid behind the folding screen there. But I saw there up close, it was absolutely horrifying.
What did you see? Could you describe the crime scene in a bit more detail? And what exactly would you like details about? We gotta ask about the murder weapon, yeah. Well, what I'd like to ask you about is the feathers and tracks, the forbidden chamber, and the murder weapon. Yeah, murder weapon. Could you describe the state of the weapons that have been used at the scene? Because he's gonna say that there was a cup on it, and we're gonna go, only Jinxie knows what that looks like. I'm calling it. I figured this out a while ago. The spear had been thrust all the way through Alderman Kyubi. Then there was that statue the alderman used to bludgeon Mayor Tenma. That incredibly inspiring symbol had fallen to the floor. Right, the statue. But why would he find it inspiring? Yeah, there it is. Why exactly did you find the statue inspiring? Well, when I saw that statue, I felt as if the merger had been realized. It was like a celebration of union between town and village, an inspiring symbol of goodwill. A broken statue next to a bloody corpse? Real inspiring. Well, Mr. Justice, do you consider his statement to be of any importance? Yeah, of course. Is it important? Yes. I believe that to be extremely important. I request that it be added to the testimony. Yeah, I got this. I figured this out the minute we found the cup. Since you had fallen onto the floor, it was a token of goodwill celebrating the municipal merger.
Objection!
Your lies have finally betrayed you, Mr. LaBelle. What possibly could you mean? You said the statue was like a celebration of union between town and village? Is that correct? It is indeed, but what of it? The two yokai are joining hands in goodwill. As if they were celebrating the municipal merger. Something the matter? So, how'd you really know that this statue was meant to be a symbol of goodwill again? What? Justice Donna, explain yourself and make it quick. This statue was meant to symbolize goodwill in its original form, but that was a secret. A secret? Whatever do you mean? What I mean is that it broke when someone used it to strike Mayor Tenma on the head. What's left clearly makes it look like the two yokai are battling it out. The statue's secret and its true form were lost inside that locked room. For Miss Tenma is the only living soul who should know what it once looked like. So, Mr. LaBelle, where could you have possibly seen the statue in its original form? What do you mean, where? The only possible answer is this. You saw the statue in its original form, right there in the room where the alderman was murdered before it was broken. How dare you? Mr. Justice? Are you accusing the witness with some sort of crime? He has committed so many acts of perjury. What do you mean? Accusing him of some sort of crime. He is a criminal right now. Yeah, yes I am. He's the murderer too. Florent LaBelle, I accuse you of the murder of Alderman Rex Kyubi. Order! Order! Mr. LaBelle, you've been accused of murder. Do you have anything to say in your defense? How could you possibly accuse me, the embodiment of beauty? Way to go, Apollo. This is the conclusive evidence we needed. Magnifico. We've got you now. We know you killed the alderman. Now admit it.
Silence.
Come on. Enough of your silly games, Justice Donna. This prancing peacock could not possibly be the killer.
Objection!
What are you talking about? His alibi has already crumbled to dust. I just proved that he was in the Fox chamber while it was still locked tight.
Silence.
Why could he have not seen the statue in its true form before the murder? After all, he was close friends with the alderman. Ergo. Yes, that's right. I clearly remember it now. Alderman Kyubi told me about it. No, he did not. about what the statue actually looked like. I mean, he was a good friend of mine.
Objection!
No, he didn't. Yeah, right. He wouldn't show you a secret gift just like that.
Silence.
Moreover, it's already been proven that he was not present at the scene of the crime. It has? Forgotten, have we? Recall the little scamp's statement, if you will, when Jinxie Tenma unlocked the Fox Chamber. She saw the alderman and the mayor collapse therein, and no one else. Oh, dang it. The fact is, it was you two who made that apparent in yesterday's court session. Thus, Florent LaBelle could not possibly have been in that locked room. No! I just don't get it. How could Jinxie not have seen LaBelle? The proof is incontrovertible. No room for debate exists. Am I not right, your baldness? It does seem awfully conclusive. The facts point to the defendant and the victim being the only people in that locked room. Moreover, the defendant has already confessed.
Objection! Silence.
You cannot defend the indefensible. Your role in this charade is over, Justice Domo. But... Your baldness. This trial would last an eternity if we were to keep crossing blades with these simpletons. It is high time you brought down the hammer of justice. A point well made. I believe it's time to declare a verdict. What? This court finds the defendant, Damien Tenma. Why would he need to open the hidden chamber unless he had to hide? Exactly. Caw! It would seem that my time is at hand. Mayor Tenma? Counselor, there is a matter to which I must testify. I recall it now only for your good graces. Counselor? Oh, he must mean me. Does he finally remember what happened before that blow to his head? Bailiff, don't just stand there. Seize him. It's no good. I can't restrain him. That's not a good bailiff, then. What the heck? That's your one job. Caw! Know me in despair, for I am Tenma Taro, Demon Lord of the Yokai. Thank you for the hydrate. Mr. Justice, do something. What? Why is it up to Apollo? Why does he have to do something? Get more guards in here if you're so worried. Since when am I responsible for court security? That's what I'm saying. Apollo, this is our chance. We might get some new information out of him. Your Honor, seeing as our client has something new to say, I believe due process demands that we hear him out, even if he is a yokai. When you put it that way, I guess we should let the demon testify. Still, I believe testimony by a yokai is unprecedented in the legal world. Shut up. Unprecedented and absurdity, more like. Alright then, Mr. Damien Tenma, or should I say Mr. Tenma Taro. Your testimony, please. I shall now speak of recollections most real, courtesy of my host, Damien Tenma. Heed these words, mortals, for hear them but once you shall. Caw! Witness testimony. The ruler of demonkind. Barely conscious was Damien there amid the darkness. Suddenly 2 yokai did appear. On one side, I, Tenma Taro, ruler of demonkind. And on the other, my mortal enemy, the nine-tailed fox. Wow, great testimony. That was awesome. So is the defendant asserting that the room he was in was very dark at the time? Strange as it may be, yes, indeed all was in darkness. And the part about Tenmataro and the nine-tailed fox being there? Yes, that too. Tenmataro towered overhead and the nine-tailed fox glittered gold. I call animal abuse, Your Honor. It would seem the defendant's recollections are not to be trusted. Yes, well, truth be told, my host's recollections are still a bit fuzzy, as if half-dreamt that happening lingers in his mind. Apollo, maybe I can help here? Really? Oh, you mean... Yeah, I can hear it, the discord in his heart. I sense an unusual emotion in the mayor's memory of the event. Okay, I just hope our findings don't come back to haunt us. Again. Let's go! Barely conscious was Damien there amid the darkness. Suddenly, two yokai did appear. On one side I, Tenmataro, ruler of demonkind. And on the other, my mortal enemy, the nine-tailed fox. Okay, why are you happy about that?
Got it!
Discord. When the nine-tailed fox appeared, you not only experienced shock and sadness, but also something like joy as well. Joy? Perhaps it was joy at the light coming to my eyes at long last. A long and terrible creaking did pierce the silence. And then there was light. On reflection, it was a door that did produce that infernal racket. A creaking door? Oh, you must be talking about the Forbidden Chamber door. It does make a lot of noise. So, this means the Forbidden Chamber really was opened? But what about the sudden light he described? I think I know. He mentioned darkness and Tenmataro towering overhead. Maybe the mayor wasn't really in the Fox Chamber at the time of the crime. Ooh. Mr. Mayor, did the darkness that you were in happen to be here? Was he in the Forbidden Chamber?
Take that!
The Forbidden Chamber? Was it not the Fox Chamber where the murder did occur? Yeah, but it all makes sense if you were in the Forbidden Chamber. That terrible creaking sound was probably the Forbidden Chamber's door opening. And the towering Tenmataro you saw? Most likely the Forbidden Chamber's statue. Why, yes, that would explain it. The darkness and the staff in the demon's grasp. But even if all that's true, then what about the nine-tailed fox? Maybe he was seeing things? Just like Jinxie and her imaginary yokai? Fantastico, Apollo. It's entirely possible. In a groggy, dreamlike state, people can misremember things and events. Misremember, you say? Let me think. I do believe I remember now. That was not the nine-tailed fox. It was... Oh, the amazing Nine-Tails. What? The amazing Nine-Tails? At first, this is but a dream, I thought. Now, however, most clearly do I recall it. 'Twas the amazing Nine-Tails who did open the Forbidden Chamber's door. Ooh. Why is that rolled down to 60? I'm sorry I asked. The amazing Nine-Tails? But that was the victim, Alderman Hubie, right? Yeah, why would he open the Forbidden Chamber? Wasn't he trying to keep it sealed? Never mind that. This is completely new information. Let me enter it and rent an update. Barely conscious was Damien Tenma there in the Forbidden Chamber. Info update. Amid the darkness, a mighty statue of Tenmataro loomed overhead. Suddenly, the door did open, and a shaft of light did pierce the gloom. The amazing Ninetales had come to the rescue. Why is he sad about that?
Got it!
When the amazing Ninetales opened the chamber, banishing the darkness within, you felt joy, but didn't you also feel shock and sadness? Yes, in the hazy depths of my mind, I do recollect something of that nature. I believe it was the fiend's cape of red, for when I did behold it, a great wave of sadness did inexplicably wash over me. Okay, getting there. We're down to 20. A cape of red? Apollo, we've reduced the noise level. Oh, but there's still a little left. Mayor Tenma, why were you sad when you saw the red cape? Why indeed? What could this mean? I guess his memory's still a little spotty. I know because his latest recollection contradicts the evidence. Yeah, he doesn't have a red cape. Yeah, it's one of those contradictions that slaps you right across the face. Something this obvious could arise when someone is trying to force a fuzzy memory into a definitive shape. Apollo, I know what you have to do. You need to present evidence that contradicts the image you see. Oh, so it's basically the same as the usual cross-examination process. Damn, Apollo, damn. Does your magic bracelet give you super seeing? No. Okay, time to review the evidence. Look out, contradiction, here comes justice. Barely conscious was Damien there in the Forbidden Chamber. Amid the darkness, a mighty statue of Tenmataro loomed overhead. Suddenly the door did open and a shaft of light did pierce the gloom. The amazing Ninetales had come to the rescue, but he doesn't have a red cape.
Objection!
You said the amazing Ninetales' cape was red. Are you sure about that? Yes, well, I do believe it was a red cape I saw, but... Mayor Tenma, does this cape look red to you? Oh, that certainly does not look red, not even scarlet or crimson either. Nevertheless, upon my liberation, something red did fill my as yet hazy field of view. Blood? And I thought to myself, the amazing Ninetales is arrayed in a cape of red. So you mistook that red something for his cape, huh? Apparently so, and remembering it now brings a great sadness upon me. So the red something probably wasn't a cape after all. Maybe that great sadness he mentioned is what's interfering with his memory? Well, he would have seen the fox chamber behind the amazing Ninetales. What red object could he have seen there that would have been that shocking? I know. Could it have been... Mr. Mayor, was the red thing you saw this? The blood in your eyeball?
Take that!
Something red that could produce a deep sadness. Could it be, Mr. Tenma, that what you saw was the alderman's blood? Blood. Why, yes, it was blood. Ugh. Ah, my memories, they have returned. It's all coming back to me now. It wasn't a red cape that I saw. It was, lying behind them, amazing Ninetails, the alderman's bloody body. Ooh. We got it.
Bye-bye.
That was so cute.
His noise level is down to 0. I think he's remembered everything now.
Does this mean the amazing Ninetails killed Alderman QB?
But the Alderman was the amazing Ninetails, so how exactly would that work?
Hey, I asked you first. Well, Mr. Justice, you sure know how to make a complicated matter even more complicated. True, but at the time of the crime, our client was in the Forbidden Chamber. Moreover...
Silence.
What? Don't you think this is strange? The little scamp has already confirmed her father to be in the Fox Chamber, but she said not about seeing the amazing Ninetails there. You just had to bring that up, didn't you?
Jinxie didn't see LaBelle there either. It's so weird. Who really was in that room then?
Would the defense care to share any theories with the court? Can you explain the inconsistency between the defendant's testimonies and his daughter's? Yeah, sure. Yeah, of course, I can explain it. Because if I don't, we're in serious trouble. Not with more of your bluffs and fairy tales, I trust. Fair warning, Justice Dono. I shall have your head if you fail to explain this. What about a good old-fashioned penalty? Well, Mr. Justice, let's see if you have a head worth keeping on your shoulders. Nah, just cut it off. First of all, Mr. LaBelle was definitely in the Fox Chamber while it was locked. We also know that Mayor Tenma was in the Forbidden Chamber based on his testimony. These two facts are crucial to my explanation. So let us consider the following question. If the facts point to Florent LaBelle and the victim being there at the scene, why did Jinxie Tenma see the victim and her father, Mayor Tenma? A very good question indeed, and I suppose you have an answer for this? Sadly, you would be supposing wrong.
You think she could have mistaken LaBelle for the mayor?
Well, she did, and the question is, why did she do that? Well, how about that explanation, Mr. Justice? I believe the time for questions is over. The defense asserts that Florent LaBelle was at the scene of the crime. However, Jinxie Tenma has testified that she saw her father collapsed there. If she has, in fact, misremembered the event, what could have made her do so? Jinxie was confused. LaBelle was disguised as Tenma. She got the rooms mixed up. I'm guessing he was disguised as her dad. That's why he said, I killed the alderman. The figure Miss Tenma saw was not her father. It was Florent LaBelle, disguised as Damien Tenma.
Silence.
That is a complete impossibility. Their faces are utterly unalike. How could you explain that away with a mere disguise? Yes, they both do have incredibly distinctive faces. Maybe the disguise completely hid his face?
I think Jinxie would have mentioned if she couldn't see her father's face.
Dang, did I get it wrong? And if that was the sort of disguise, why wouldn't she have removed it? Alright. Your sword is as dull as your mind, Justice Dono. Shall I show you what a truly sharp blade is capable of? I think I'll pass. Did we just get murdered? Are you okay, Apollo? I'm not fine, am I? Well, now that we have that little fairy tale out of the way, your baldness, your verdict, if you will. Oh, dang. Mr. Justice, I believe it's time for a verdict if you have no further arguments. What's even left for me to do?
Apollo, remember what Mr. Wright always says? When you're stuck in a tight spot, turn the case upside down.
Turn the case upside down? He does say that, doesn't he? I don't quite see how it applies here. Still, never hurts to give it a try, I guess. Let's see. Rather than Jinxie didn't remove the disguise, maybe she couldn't remove it? And rather than she didn't tell anyone about the disguise, maybe it was she couldn't talk about it? Oh.
A wrestler's mask is more precious than his own life.
Oh! Wait! Is Damien the Amazing Ninetales? Oh.
He'd never unmask himself in front of others. But there are matches where wrestlers battle for the right to remove each other's masks. To have your mask torn off is the worst humiliation a wrestler could suffer. That's why their masks are more important to them than life itself.
Oh. And what about the fact that it was the Amazing Ninetales who opened the door? A mask that can't be removed in front of others? Can these facts turn things around? Oh my god, he's the Amazing Ninetales. That's a good twist. I did not see that coming. Ah! We got it all backwards.
Apollo?
I think we might have made a huge mistake. Your baldness. I see no need to further indulge them in their silly little farce. The defense has no proof. They never did, and they never will. Then it seems that I must announce my verdict. Oh. I do have proof. Do you now? Alright, but this better be good, Mr. Justice. We can solve the remaining riddles by turning all of our assumptions upside down. Why Jinxie Tenma mistook Mr. LaBelle for her father. Why she couldn't remove the costume or tell anyone about it in the first place. These riddles are inextricably linked to Mayor Tenma's secret identity. A shocking secret identity that will turn the entire premise of this case upside down. This piece of evidence clearly reveals Mayor Tenma's secret identity.
Take that!
What absolute claptrap, poppycock, balderdash. We thought the alderman was the Amazing Ninetales and the mayor was Tenma Taro. That's why we believe the mayor killed the alderman in his lust for Ninetales' veil. And it was the basis for the prosecution's entire case against our client. However, we got the whole thing backwards. Mayor Tenma wasn't Tenma Taro at all. He was the Amazing Ninetales. What's this? You'd best explain yourself, Justice Dono, and from where you derive such a far-fetched conclusion. Jinxie no doubt knew the true identity of the Amazing Ninetales, but she couldn't tell anyone no matter what. That's why she didn't say it was the Amazing Ninetales she saw passed out, even though, unbeknownst to her, it was really Florent LaBelle in disguise.
Silence!
The accused and that deceitful dandy are utterly dissimilar in physical build and voice. The little scamp would have seen the difference.
Objection!
Remember, Mr. LaBelle had his very own brand of cosmetics. Why couldn't he fake a different build, too? And anyone speaking through a mask would naturally sound different.
Silence!
Why did she not simply pull the mask off?
Objection!
Because that's a disgrace.
A masked wrestler's disguise is more precious than life itself. As a huge fan of the Amazing Ninetales, she would never dare unmask him. This case of mistaken identity also explains the riddle of the locked room. Then by all means, Mr. Justice, answer it for us already. First, Mr. LaBelle entered the room where the mayor and the alderman were talking. I suspect he brought with him coffee laced with some sort of sedative. Once the alderman was out cold, that's when Mr. LaBelle killed him.
Next, he took the mayor, who he had also drugged, into the forbidden chamber. Then he returned to the fox chamber, slipped into some of the mayor's spare clothes, and completed the disguise by donning the amazing Ninetails' mask. With his entire charade in place, Mr. LaBelle then let out a scream. The scream that led Jinxie Tenma to the scene. Ah, so then the person who said, "I killed Alderman QB" was... Yep, that was Florent LaBelle in disguise. The mayor never actually confessed.
Silence.
There is no more than guesswork and speculation. Now stop your jabbering and...
Objection!
No, you twisted samurai. This time you stop your jabbering and let me finish my case. Get him! Get him, Apollo, yes! Once Miss Tenma left the scene, Mr. LaBelle, still wearing the mayor's clothes and mask, opened the forbidden chamber, so he could drag the mayor back out into the fox chamber.
Oh, so the amazing Ninetails the mayor saw was...
Right, it was LaBelle opening the forbidden chamber. The second time Mr. LaBelle opened the door to the forbidden chamber, he happened to catch the thieving Mr. Filch by surprise. Startled, Mr. Filch, in his Tenmataro disguise, ran as fast as he could away from the room. As he did, he left behind him a trail of feathers and tracks, and gave Miss Tenma the scare of her life in the hallway. With no one left to witness the events that had occurred, Mr. LaBelle then proceeded to drag the sleeping mayor back into the fox chamber. I see. Well, that all certainly does make sense. Then, after dragging the mayor back into the fox chamber, Mr. LaBelle threw the mask out the window and fled the room.
Silence.
For this absurd theory to work, it requires that the defendant be the amazing Ninetails. However, he was the one pushing for the municipal merger. That such an individual could possibly be the amazing Ninetails is preposterous.
Objection!
The mayor was blackmailed into pursuing the merger. Miss Tenma's life would have been in danger if he had openly voiced his opposition. That's why he created a secret identity as the amazing Ninetails. Ugh. This is madness. No one could possibly hatch such an insane plot. No one except a killer as insane as his plot, and I'd say Florent LaBelle more than qualifies. Foolish mortal, it is at your own peril that you forget who I am. Mayor Tenma, it's okay now. Jinx, you'll be safe just as soon as Mr. LaBelle is arrested. You are the amazing Ninetails, aren't you? Come on. You have quite the active imagination. Mayor Tenma is not the amazing Ninetails.
Objection!
What do you mean? Well, has the mayor admitted to it yet? But that's just... And even if he did admit to such nonsense... His hair has changed. Oh my god, it has. He's blonde again. I would reveal the truth behind Tenmataro right here and now. What? Why, you would dare reveal the secret. My good friend the alderman told me all about it, but it wouldn't be good to expose the truth. What with the superstitions now, would it? The truth behind Tenmataro? What's he talking about? So go ahead, say it. Say, I am the amazing Ninetails. I dare you.
Objection!
Wait, will somebody please explain what's going on here? Mayor Ten will do anything to keep the truth behind Tenmataro a secret. A dark, terrible truth that has been kept secret by the village superstitions. And if the mayor admits to being the amazing Ninetales, you'll expose the truth? Right! I won't have him walking free because of some nonsense you made up. So what now, Justice Dono? Without the mayor's admission, your theory is as useless as you are in battle. I'll show you who's useless. Get him.
Apollo, don't you dare give up now.
I know. Your Honor, I believe Mr. LaBelle's statements warrant a thorough cross-examination. After all, the true identity of the amazing Ninetales is the cornerstone of this case. You do have a point there. Please answer this court, Mr. LaBelle. Is the defendant the amazing Ninetales or not? The amazing Ninetales' true identity. The amazing Ninetales' true identity is not Mayor Tenma. The mayor would never admit to such utter nonsense. But if he did admit to such nonsense, I will expose the truth behind Tenma Taro right here and now. And that would bring ruin upon the Ninetales Vale, just as the superstitions say. Talk about out of the pot and into the fire. At this rate, the mayor will be found guilty for sure. Honestly speaking, if Mayor Damien Tenma is not the amazing Ninetales, I'm afraid I don't see how the defense has much of a case here. And let's just leave it at that, shall we? We all know Alderman QB was the amazing Ninetales anyway. He's so scummy, yeah. I mean, that's how Ninetales Vale had made a comeback. The Alderman was so popular. There's gotta be a hole in that testimony somewhere. I don't even know where to start. Since we don't have any proof that the mayor's the amazing Ninetales, then we'll just have to get him to admit it himself. But if he admits it, LaBelle's going to expose the secret behind Tenma Taro. Ugh, we're so close, I know it. The defense may cross-examine the witness. The amazing Ninetales' true identity. Yeah. The mayor would never admit to such utter nonsense, but if he did admit to such nonsense, I will expose the truth behind Tenma Taro right here and now, and that would bring ruin upon Ninetales Vale, just as the superstitions say.
Hold it!
Do not gaze upon Tenma Taro. Do not tell others if you see him. Isn't that what the village superstitions say? Exactly. Telling others what Tenma Taro looks like would reveal the truth. That's why the superstitions were written down in the first place. And ruin coming to the village if you free him. Is that a warning not to expose the truth? Bingo! And that truth is Tenma Taro is a great, greed-inspiring fortune. That's what the whole battle over Ninetales Vale is about. Tenma Taro is a great fortune? Come to think of it. Only that is the greatest get-rich-quick chance in the universe. Grandpappy told me all about it. Said there's an amazing treasure in there. Could Tenma Taro actually be Mayor Tenma Forbidden Chamber treasure? I'm guessing it's the treasure, yeah? Telling the villagers that Tenma Taro is a terrifying yokai is what has scared them away from the Forbidden Chamber and the treasure within. That's how the treasure has been kept secret all this time. Interesting. Oh, well. It seems our ace attorney here, roll credits, has uncovered the truth that must not be revealed. Mayor Tenma looks like he wants to keep the truth hidden as much as I do. Tragedy is doomed to repeat itself as long as Tenma Taro exists. That's why the secret must be protected. As long as Tenma Taro exists, huh? Mr. LaBelle, please add that statement to your testimony.
tragedy is doomed to repeat as long as Tenmataro exists. Except it doesn't exist anymore. It's been pilfered.
Objection!
Mr. LaBelle, what if Tenmataro no longer existed? Revealing the truth would no longer be an issue, would it? If Tenmataro no longer existed? What on earth are you talking about? Oh, apparently you haven't heard. Tenmataro no longer exists. But I guess you didn't get to do a thorough search after the key was taken from you. Because when we searched the Forbidden Chamber, there wasn't any treasure there. Really? Well, maybe you weren't looking in the right place. Sorry, but I have proof that Tenmataro no longer exists. Take a look at this figure. What do we have here? It looks like some sort of creature. We found this in the Forbidden Chamber. It's an Azuki Kozo figure. The great thief Azuki Kozo used to leave them at the scene of his crimes. Are you suggesting that Tenmataro has been stolen? Yep. Phineas Filch's grandfather, a master thief, was the culprit. And by that hideous moronic caretaker's grandfather, no less. You! No! My beautiful golden Tenmataro was... The greed inspired by Tenmataro can no longer bring ruin upon Ninetales Vale. Oh, that's what that scroll was about. It was like this golden thing. Oh, that makes sense. That's actually really interesting and really cool. Isn't that right, Mayor Tenma? The root of tragedy would indeed seem to be gone. In fact, I now recall the alderman revealing the secret to me on the day of our meeting. He must have been speaking of Tenmataro, for he said to me, the gold ingot was gone. Gold ingot? You mean the treasure that is Tenmataro's true form? Recall, if you will, the scroll in the Forbidden Chamber. Tenmataro is the yellowish object shown there. A giant gold ingot that my nomadic ancestors bestowed upon Ninetales Vale. In return for that gold, my ancestors did receive from Ninetales Vale land that would become Tenma Town. But drive the villagers mad with greed did that great fortune. Bitter was their greed-fueled battle. It was as if they were possessed. My ancestors' gold became as a curse upon their village, a curse of ruin. Thus, it was that the yokai Tenmataro came to be. Interesting. So Tenmataro and the villagers' superstitions were merely fairy tales to scare people away? Fairy tale or not, Tenmataro made quite the mess of things. Yes, indeed, for there is no greater monster than a mortal man's lust for gold. Well, you know what they say. The love of money is the root of all evil. My ancestors did bring a terrible thing here to Ninetales Vale. A thing so terrible that Tenmataro, a monster just as terrible, had to be created to keep it a secret. Yet we have naught but love for the little village to which we owe our very existence. Tenma Town would never seek to take over Ninetales Vale in a merger. Whoa. Oh my. That was quite a shocking lesson in history. Mr. Mayor, now that we know Tenmataro no longer exists, are you ready to admit your secret? You are the amazing Ninetales, aren't you? No! Don't do it! Please, no! Be gone, you demented demon. Now, where was I? The Golden Lord of Yokai, the amazing Ninetales, is indeed me. And that means Jinxie. Yeah. This lore is crazy. Yes? The man wearing the mayor's clothes who you saw collapse in the Fox Chamber. Was he wearing the amazing Ninetales' mask? Uh-huh. That's what made me think it was Papa. He said he was going to reveal his secret identity to Alderman Kyubi that day, so it really wasn't Papa I saw there, was it?
It was Florent's idea from the start. He advised me to reveal my secret identity to the Alderman. Yeesh, Rube Goldberg machines have less elaborate setups than LaBelle's scheme. You may rest easy now, little Jinxie. That monster's deception is through. Caw, 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 caw. The true facts behind this case have finally come to light. Mayor Tenma did not kill Alderman Kyubi, but Florent LaBelle did. How dare you, peasant? No!
Silence.
Come on. Justice Dono, you should at least have a real blade in your hands if you desire to cross swords with me. Or have you mistaken this battlefield for a training ground? What's this guy want now? Evidence is like a razor-sharp blade that cuts through bone as though it were butter. But you have only blind guesses, a dull blade incapable of cutting even a cake. He has you there, Mr. Justice. Your sword is dull. After all, evidence is everything in a court of law. But didn't we have the... They're right. Let's see some evidence. Didn't we literally have a jury case to prove that evidence isn't everything? Of course, a perfect being like me wouldn't leave behind any incriminating evidence. This is the final battle. Just as a samurai must live and die by the sword. LaBelle's reaction is literally evidence. You will live or die by the evidence you hold. My swift blade of judgment awaits. Now, present your conclusive evidence, or don't you have any? Oh, crud. Do I have anything conclusive? Yep. Evidence? Oh, I have evidence. You do? Of course. It's just the conclusive evidence we need, too. I'm going to finally prove Mayor Tenma innocent. Here comes justice. Whoa! Whoa, this is sick! Let's review the facts. The most damning evidence against the mayor was the crime scene itself. The mayor and the victim were the only two people found in the room. Also, I can't believe... Holy mackerel. His forehead, it's telling us all the secrets. Also, we all thought the alderman was killed because he was the Amazing Ninetails, but as we know now, of course, we were way off. The Amazing Ninetails is really Mayor Damien Tenma. That's why when his daughter Jinxie saw the Amazing Ninetails collapse at the scene, she mistook him for her father. Those are the facts as we have revealed. However, Mr. LaBelle asserts that he did not leave any evidence at the scene of the crime, but he didn't say anything about evidence outside the crime scene. Oh, the mask was found at like a river. Maybe he isn't as clever as he thinks he is. Does any of the evidence found outside the crime scene provide any clues? Whoa, this is really cool! Clue inside the mask. Well, I know. The Amazing Ninetails' mask. It was found washed up along the river. This is like my favorite addition they've done. It's really cool. Like we're doing the string of logic. What sort of clue does that mask hold? White hair, patch of golden fur. The white hair! White hair in the mask. And what about the hair left in the mask? Who does it belong to? Florent LaBelle. It was dyed. The white hair is LaBelle's. Right. That hair is Florent LaBelle's. Yes. Now that's what I call conclusive evidence. Oh, I'm sick. He used his magic forehead powers. Well, Mr. Justice, do you have any conclusive evidence to present to this court? Of course I do. Observe this mask, if you will. That mask? How is that conclusive evidence? It's not the mask itself, but the white hair inside it. We originally thought it belonged to Alderman Rex Kyubi. Yes, but the Amazing Ninetails, as we now know, is Mayor Tenma, so that's correct. So the question is, whose hair could this be? And the answer to that is the last person to have worn it before it was discarded. That would be you, Mr. Florent LaBelle. What are you talking about? I never had had hideous white hair like that.
Silence.
It would appear your coup de grace failed to hit its mark. This freakish fop is not the white hair type. Because he's busy being one ludicrously garish color or another.
Objection!
No, Prosecutor Blackquill. It's you who has made a fatal error. What? Remember where this mask was found? It washed up by the side of the river. With that in mind, this last piece of evidence will solve all the remaining riddles. Oh, it washes out with water. His hair's naturally white, isn't it? That's funny. That's funny. Oh, that's... What is that? This is Mr. LaBelle's own private brand of hair color. It washes out with just water. The court will also recall that the amazing Ninetales' mask washed up along the side of the village river with white hair inside it. What's this? Are you saying that preening peacock's hair color is... That's exactly what I'm saying. Mr. LaBelle's hair color is a freaky work of fiction. But thanks to the river flowing through Ninetales Vale, we now have a real-life expose. The white hair in the mask is conclusive evidence proving you're the real killer. A DNA test is all we need to prove it, and we both know we'll get a match. They haven't done a DNA test yet before? I think they had a hair sample. You think they'd... Admit it. Florent LaBelle, you were the one who killed Alderman Rex Cubey. Quick, bailiff, get a bucket of water and throw it over LaBelle. You peasant! How dare you! Oh, my profane fuck! I'm going to exterminate you like I did the— Oh my god! No, my makeup! Oh my god. Ew. Ew. Hello, this is LaBelle. What? The project is off? This is LaBelle. The sponsors have pulled out. LaBelle speaking. I'm fired? You mean I'm no longer Mayor Tenma's aide? Hello, this is LaBelle. What? There's stratospheric damages claim against me? $100 million? I'm finished! Washed up! Stick a fork in me, I'm done! You deserved all of this. This is preposterous. I, Simon Blackquill, defeated. Honey, you're in jail. Order in the court. It's not that big a deal. That you lost the case. You're going back to your prison cell after this anyway. Well, this is quite the unexpected outcome. I must hand it to you, Mr. Justice. You really turned this case on its head. Just like that other lawyer, Phoenix Wright. The only other lawyer. Wow. Wonder where he is these days. Wait, that was a compliment, right? Prosecutor Blackquill, what have you done with Florent LaBelle? The defaced man is withered like a flower without water. One of the officers is currently tending to him with a sprinkler. Wouldn't that just wash even more of his makeup off? Allow me to explain the actions of the guilty party in detail. The motive, of course, was to steal the gold ingot known as Tenmataro. However, few are allowed into the manor due to its cultural ties to Ninetales Vale. LaBelle set in motion plans to gain access to the manor and the gold within via the merger. But the efforts of the amazing Ninetales saw those plans come to a halt. And thus LaBelle murdered the alderman and attempted to pin the blame on Mayor Tenma. I see, but why? What I still can't comprehend is why would he go after the gold in the first place? Mr. LaBelle doesn't look like someone who is in need of financial aid. LaBelle hid his past well, much like he hid his beauty with makeup. He's mired in debt. Debt due to pouring money into a brand only he could love. Which is why he sought the gold with such ferocity. Too bad for him, someone else had gotten to it first anyway. I see. Very well, then. I believe it's time I declared a verdict. This court finds the defendant Damien Tenma not guilty.
Huzzah! Hooray! Hooray! We've done it! We've done it! We have finally seen this episode! Woo!
Alright, back to prison, Blackwell.
Court is adjourned. Get out of my courtroom. April 19th, 1:23 p.m. in District Court.
Defendant Lobe, number 3.
That was some seriously good lawyering, Apollo. It's almost like this is your job. Even I didn't see that coming. Just got lucky, I guess. You banished Tenma Taro from Ninetails Vale like you were some kind of exorcist. There's still one thing I don't understand. How come Mr. LaBelle didn't kill Mayor Tenma, too? He could have set it up so the mayor murdered the alderman, then died from a counterattack. That would have removed at least one possible fly from the ointment. I was wondering about that, too. But I have a hunch LaBelle was biding his time. He was planning on exposing the amazing Ninetails' true identity himself.
Like a hero.
Huh? But why? Because the mayor was the amazing Ninetails. Had LaBelle succeeded in framing Mayor Tenma for the alderman's murder, the wrestler's popularity would have plummeted once his identity was revealed. Oh, I get it. If the amazing Ninetails was just killed, he'd die a hero. But if he was proved a villain, his fans would abandon him, making the merger that much easier. Right, then when the merger was complete and everything cooled down, he'd be able to search the Forbidden Chamber at his leisure.
What an insanely intricate plot.
Caw, 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 caw! A most excellent job clearing my name. A feat worthy of the Demon Lord's approval. Why are you acting like Tenma Taro again? Let this be of no concern to you. How could it not concern me?
Tenma Taro, be gone!
Gah! Jinxie. Seems like ages since I've laid eyes on you.
Papa, you're finally back.
Yes. It would seem that Tenma Taro is no match for you.
I'm not scared of that silly yokai anymore. Your father's a free man now, Jinxie. Isn't that great? Thank you for all you've done. Seeing you guys in action, it made me feel like I don't have to be afraid anymore.
Aww. Wait, is Jinxie actually smiling? Aww. This is all thanks to you two. Too bad the amazing Ninetails will have to retire, though. Aww, how come? Once everyone hears I'm the amazing Ninetails, my fan base will nosedive. After all, I'm not the most popular of people. Another reason for my secret identity. I don't see how I could possibly continue.
I think you've misjudged yourself. Take a look outside.
Say, now that you mention it, what's all that noise out there? A big crowd gathered outside the courtroom once the news broke. Think they want to get a glimpse of Mayor Damien Tenma, the man behind the mask, and to root for your return to the wrestling ring. Rooting? For me? But I thought I was nothing more than a male factor in their eyes.
The only one who really matters is Jinxie. Show her how cool you really are.
Oh.
Yeah, you're the coolest when you're out there fighting in the ring, Papa.
Aww. Jinxie. Here. I think you'll be needing this. mask?
Take that!
Thank you. Now if you would excuse me. I don't want to keep my fans waiting. I like how the fans understand are just happy everything's okay. Aww. 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 Whoa! That was awesome.
Nine Tails Veil forever!
Aww. Aww, this is so cute. That was lovely. Those are true fans.
I should hope they can settle the problems between Tenma Town and Nine Tails Vale.
Me too. I'm sure they'll be fine. After all, the blackmailer slash killer is behind bars and the merger's no longer an issue. Plus, the Amazing Ninetales is obviously still a hit, and I suspect Ninetales Vale will be too. And it's all because we believed in our client, just like you said.
Okay, people. Now that we've got that one in the bag, let's go get something to eat. I'm starving.
Sounds good. I'm so nervous I haven't eaten since yesterday. Oh my god, Apollo, go eat.
Better keep eating, Apollo, or you might have to start looking up at me.
Huh? I'm definitely past my growth phase, and you should be about past yours too.
Are you kidding me? I'm just getting started. Ready or not, it's face stuffing time.
Apollo! What is wrong with him? He's such a menace. Keep eating like that, and the only direction you'll grow is sideways.
Very funny.
He's such a jerk.
But I've got a hollow leg. I can eat as much as I want without gaining an ounce.
Really? Wow, I can't wait to see this.
Calories? Huh. Just let him try to stick on me.
Alright, already, you two. Alright, you kids. Let's get going before the old man closes shop. Eldune's Noodles isn't an all-night stand, you know. I'm with Mr. Wright. Let's go.
I've been waiting to have a bowl from there ever since Mr. Wright told me about them.
Well, what are we waiting for? The noodles are on me today, so I expect some serious eating from you two.
Yay! Thanks, boss. I won't let you down.
Athena has no idea what she's getting into. Mr. Eldune's noodles are so hot and salty. 2 bowls would kill a man.
I killed a man! God dang it. That was our first case together. And it felt like nothing could bring us down after that.
Oh.
The dark age of the law seemed so distant, so irrelevant to our small, cozy office. But little did I know that it had been lurking all along, right there behind us. The first time it made itself known was during the murder at Themis Legal Academy. That case would mark the twilight before the dark, cold night that was to come.
Ooh. Oh, we've done it. The end. Huzzah! We beat episode 2! Oh. Alright, let's see this little opening cutscene. I'm assuming there's gonna be one. Yep.
Themis Legal Academy, a prestigious high school with alumni in the highest echelons of the legal world.
Whoa. Whoa. What? 3 murderers? October 24th. 1:25 p.m. Themis Legal Academy. Oh man. Oh man, oh man, oh man. Well then. I'm very excited to see where this case goes. Very, very excited. But for now, I say goodnight. Thank you guys for joining me. I think the phrase might be driving. It's alright, I'm ending stream anyway. Sure, you. Right, you. Oh, that one I spelled it wrong. There we go. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I'm gonna send you all over on a raid. It's been fun. I have had a blast. Thank you guys for joining me. We finally beat episode 2. No stream tomorrow. If I stream Sunday, it'll be late in the evening, and it won't be Apollo Justice Trilogy. Or it'll be like Slay the Princess or something. But we'll be back with this on Monday, definitely, for sure. We'll start episode 3. I'm actually kind of excited about episode 3. It looks like a lot of fun. Thank you guys for joining me. See y'all later. Bye-bye now.
Bye.